Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sportsbet TV with me, Paul Alster here, looking forward to Friday, the 9th of September, which will be day 3 of the Doncaster St Leger Festival. I haven't given tips on the first 2 days of the 4-day fixture because, well, to be honest, I didn't really fancy anything. So rather than just come up with a few very speculative selections, I thought best to keep the powder dry because not only on Friday is the good racing at Doncaster, but we'll have a further bulletin for Saturday and Sunday's racing, where, of course, we've got the St Leger meeting at Doncaster and the Irish Champions Weekend, which is sensational at Leopardstown and the Curragh. So do tune in to join me for those big meetings. And if you happen to be new, just stumbling across the channel for the first time and you're looking for big odds horses to bet over this weekend and going forward, then please just press the subscribe button. It's free just below this screen. And then you'll be able to follow each and every bulletin here at Sportsbet. Well, very quickly, last weekend I tipped you 3. One was a non-runner, Castle Star again being taken out because of the very quick ground at Haydock, which caused one of the selections, Golden Flame, to run a long way below par. His jockey reported that there was a problem. He just couldn't handle the ground there and he was really struggling. But our other selection was at Ascot River Nymph, 18-1, just run out of it, finished a very good third. And so each way singles on those 3 with the money back for, of course. Castle Star would have shown just a small profit. Not the kind of profits we're looking for, but better than a loss, that is for sure. So anyway, 3 for you for Friday. And looking into the weekend, the following bulletin, I reckon there'll be 4 or very easily 5 selections for the Champions Weekend and St Leger recording. Well, my first one for Friday is the Doncaster 125, the first race of the day, the Mallard Handicap. It's over the St Leger course and distance of 1 mile, 6.5 furlongs. There are 13 runners. The going is forecast good to soft in places, but I don't think there are any really heavy rain showers forecast, maybe just a bit of drizzle, but of course you just never know, do you? Well, of course, it's a handicap at a big meeting. That means that William Haggas's horse is going to be favourite, or certainly is the forecast favourite. That's Maharajan. He was third in a good heritage handicap at York last time out, but has been beaten in all 4 starts this term and hasn't been allowed any leeway by the handicapper. So I think he's going to have to improve just a touch if he is going to justify what at the moment, at the time of this recording, on Thursday morning at around 10:15, are odds of 9-2. HMS President has been running really well for Eve Johnson Horton and knocking on the door with second places on each of its last 3 starts, including at Newmarket behind the very tough Sam Cook last time out. An oldie but a goodie is Sir Chauvelin, trained by Jim Goldie, a 10-year-old. This horse only beaten a neck last time out at Hamilton on soft ground. He'd previously beaten Dark Jedi. Dark Jedi will reoppose again, trying to reverse that short head defeat inflicted on him by Sir Chauvelin at Musselburgh. He's £4 better off, so Dark Jedi has proper claims too. In G-Corps for Alan King, well, they've waited with this horse, obviously waiting for the better ground. Wouldn't have wanted to run him on the summer hop, the very fast summer ground. He was 4th in the Old Newton Cup when we last saw him at Haydock in July, having previously won a decent 1 3/4 handicap on soft ground at Goodwood. You've got Wise Eagle for Adam Nicol. He's won his last 2 at Musselburgh and Redcar, and this horse stays up to 2.25 miles, where they'll have the pace in the closing stages, having gone up £10 in total, remains to be seen. But the interesting race for me is the Shergar Cup race. That 2-mile Stayers race at the Shergar Cup was won by the Max We Can for Mark and Charlie Johnston. He's gone up £2 for that. But the horse I like is the horse who finished 4th on that day at Ascot recently, and that is a horse called Mollywood. And Mollywood was having his debut for a new yard. Mollywood is trained by Dylan Cooner and is the mount of Kieran Schumacher. Now, it might be that many of you watching this have never heard of Dylan Cooner, and he is a South African trainer who has relocated to Britain. He's a very interesting guy. He trained the Grade 1 winners in South Africa as a very young man in his early to mid-20s. He also set up in tandem an airline business, which he pulled the plug on when COVID came along and all travel ended. and he decided to try his luck in Britain, moving to Newmarket. He's only got about half a dozen horses, but he has already had a winner. So this is a guy who's a little bit under the radar because British punters don't really know him, but he's a very, very capable racehorse trainer. And he bought this Mollywood from Marco Botti, who'd won 4 times with the horse at up to 2 miles. And Connections paid 42,000 guineas for him at the Horses in Training sale this summer. And he did really well first time out for the yard in the Showgirl Cup. Didn't get the very best of runs, but he kept on really well in the closing stages, only beaten just over a length by the eventual winner, the Max We Can. And I know Connections were absolutely thrilled with that performance. Now, they'll have learned more about the horse, who had just seemed to go a little bit sour on his last few runs for Marco Botti. And that's no criticism of Marco Botti, because sometimes horses just get bored in the same surroundings, or if it's a big yard, they can just get a little bit lost. So maybe being the centre of attention in a 6-horse yard is very much what Mollywood is looking for. They've also decided to put the blinkers on him first time. And I think this could just sharpen him up and focus him that little bit more. And given all the above, I think the 20-1 on offer at the time of this recording each way for 5 places with Sky Bet is a very decent bet. And I'll be happy to have a little bit of that. So I'm hoping that Dylan Cooner is going to have his name up in lights after the first race at Doncaster on Friday with Mollywood, who's the mount of Group 1 winning jockey Kieran Schumacher. Our second selection on Friday is at Doncaster in the 235. This is a real lickety-split Group 2 for 2-year-olds over 5 furlongs. The Flying Childers Stakes. And there are 8 runners, meaning that each way betting for 3 places is possible. Now, only 2 favourites have won this race in the last 10 years, but I don't think there's too much doubt that the Platinum Queen for Richard Fahey is going to go off favourite here, and she is going to be really hard to beat, because you remember she ran that absolute stonking race in the Nunthorpe Stakes, the Group 1 against older horses, where she was second. Only Highfield Princess, brilliant Highfield Princess, was the only one good enough to beat the Platinum Queen, who of course was getting weight for age, but it was a marvellous effort. She did have a hard race that day though, and sometimes horses remember these hard races. So at around 6-4, I wouldn't be over keen to back her, but it wouldn't surprise if she proves good enough. But if she happens to run a bit below par, I think I've got a horse that might well take advantage. A horse who's sure to go well too is Richard Hannon's Trillium, who won a Newbury 6-furlong maiden in July and then was just too fast, dropping back to 5 furlongs at Glorious Goodwood in the Group 3 Moulcombe Stakes, beating the smart Rocket Rodney. Now, that was a really good performance, and I think Trillium is a major danger to the favourite, the Platinum Queen. George Bowies, Malretia, and Prince of Pilo, who's unbeaten in 2 for Keys Dalgleish, will be on a hat-trick here, are both respected. But I like the Irish raider here, Crispy Cat, who is trained by Michael O'Callaghan, who's one of the shrewdest operators in the Irish racing scene, and is the mount of Ryan Moore. That booking of Ryan Moore really does catch the eye. But what about Crispy Cat? He's quite an experienced 2-year-old. He's shown a lot of ability. He won on his debut in a maiden at Cork in April, and then he was beaten just a short head by Aidan O'Brien's Useful Blackbeard in a listed race at the Curragh. He then went down by a neck when second to Maria Bramwell in a listed race at Sandown. Has been running to a very good level of form, and he built on that when a 2-length third in the Group 2 Norfolk Stakes at Royal Ascot behind the Riddler. That race, of course, in which Paul Hannigan cut across the field, and a race that has subsequently prompted people to call for a change in the rules for as far as jockeys riding carelessly is concerned. After that, stepped up to 6 furlongs. He ran 2 free in a Group 2 at the Curragh and didn't get home. But he settled a little bit better in the Group 2 Richmond Stakes at Glorious Goodwood last time out, finishing a 3-length fourth. But he did tire in the closing stages, which is why I'm delighted to see Crispy Cat back at 5 furlongs. Not just any 5 furlongs, a pancake flat 5 furlongs at Doncaster, where they really do blitz along. And they fly along, and on this decent ground, I think it's going to suit front-running Crispy Cat. And he'll be setting a target for the likes of the Platinum Queen and Trillium to aim at. And he's going to take a bit of passing, I think. And because of that, I think with Ryan Moore on board, taking over from Rossa Ryan, who no longer rides for the owners, I think the 17-2 odds that are available each way for 3 places. At the time of this recording, Thursday morning, with William Hill, Bet Victor and Parry Match, is a solid each way bet. 17-2, 3 places. Crispy Cat, Doncaster 235, the Flying Childers Stakes. And then my final selection for Friday, well, the 3:45 race at Doncaster is the 6.5 furlong Kazoo Handicap. There are 14 runners. 6.5 furlongs is a rarely run trip, as I'm sure you know. And there are loads of horses with chances, including the Charles Hills trained Tamawi, who won here over 6 furlongs in June off 87. And then he again won at Fosslas recently off 89. He's gone up a further £7. But he's a general 4-1 favourite last time I had a butcher's at the odds comparison site this morning. Now, one horse who's been in blistering form this season is Juan Lepin for Michael Appleby. He's on a 5-timer. As a consequence, he's gone up in the handicap £22, including a win at Doncaster over 6 furlongs last time out, where he stayed on strongly, and the extra 110 yards probably isn't been a problem to him. Mum's Tipple, of course, has been a horse with a real history. He looked to be a superstar at 2 when he ran away with that sales race at Doncaster. And Connections turned down a huge, huge offer for him, which I suspect they wish they'd taken now. He's a bit of an enigma. Rather lost his way at 3, but he's come back this year running good form in sprint handicaps. And last time out of 97 was second at Ascot last week, so he may well be thereabouts. And an interesting runner here is Shine So Bright for the Andrew Balding yard. He won his first 2 races this season, both at Newmarket over 7 furlongs on the Rowley Mile course. And then we haven't seen him since the spring. I suspect that Connections just didn't want to risk him on really fast ground, or he may have had an issue. He has won on ground on the fast side of good, but he has to run here off a mark of 106 now. And he's going to have to be pretty much a group class horse to win off that mark after a break in this company. And so by a process of elimination, deliberation and determination, I've come up with Abel Kane. Abel Kane for Rod Millman and William Buick. Now, Rod Millman's having a very, very good season. He's had 33 winners this season, and so he's on course for his best year since 2007, when old Sergeant Cecil was still strutting his stuff. The best horse that Rod Millman ever trained, of course. A brilliant, brilliant staying handicapper and group-winning stayer. Abel Kane's a previous course and distance winner, which is notable because there aren't many 6.5 furlong races here. He's also won at 7 furlongs at Fosslas this season in July off 87. And he's run well on his last 2 starts, including a 7 furlong race at Newbury, where he was a good third to the useful Documenting, and most recently at Goodwood, where he just tied up in the last 110 yards in the race won by my selection, 12-1 shot I'm a Gambler. Now, he led that day until he was headed in the last half furlong, but he did keep on. I'm very much of the view that 6.5 furlongs is the absolutely perfect trip for Abel Kane, and I think he'll go well, especially with the terrific William Buick on board. William is having only his 4th ride ever for the Rod Millman yard, and I'm optimistic that this one will be a winning one. At the time of recording, on Thursday morning, there's already been money for this horse, 7-1 down to 6-1. 6-1 each way. 5 places still available with Sky Bet. There are 4 places. You may well have accounts with the likes of Bet365, 10Bet, Unibet, Betfred, or William Hills. So as always, remember to shop around. And it might be that by the time you're considering your bets, the whole markets have changed. So remember to shop around and have a good look for the very best value you can find, both in terms of the price and, as we're betting each way, the best place offering that the firms are putting forward. So those are my 3. I'll be having an each way patent as usual on those. I wish you the best of luck for those for Friday's racing, and do come back to me Friday afternoon into Saturday morning, wherever you're going to view it, because I'll be having quite a selection of tips available this weekend. We're really going to have a crack at it this weekend with the St. Leger card at Doncaster and the champions meeting across Saturday and Sunday at Leopardstown and the Curragh. So for now, from me, Paul Alster at Sportsbet, it's goodbye and the very best of luck. Bye-bye for now.